Hello everyone and welcome back to the Commander's Forge. My name is Andy Bentley and the Forge is an area for me to talk about Magic, Commander, and anything else while I'm trying to not lose everything. So last week I did not have the time or energy to put together a podcast. I'm sorry about that. It just wasn't in the cards. This week I'm still feeling a little behind everything. But I was able to find the time to sit down and organize my thoughts, which has been the number one thing I haven't been able to do recently. And I really don't have a ton to talk about. Yeah, by we, I mean me and my cousin did attend the Two-Headed Giant sealed event for the new set. It was fun. We ended up going 2-2, and the games felt fun. But there's just not a ton I want to talk about with the set. Because, again, I'm very poor at the moment. I'm trying to pay off a $1,300 car repair. And that doesn't leave a whole lot of money for anything else. But that said, I have been getting back into brewing. And I am mostly using what I have on hand. Because again, I don't have a ton of money to spend. But I will put in for like a couple dollars worth of cards. If they're cheap. You know what I mean? So first up, I've been looking at a white-blue birds list since before even Bloom Hollow was announced. It's just something that I've had in the back of my head, and I was looking through cards, and I'm either going to end up building this out as Gwahir the Windlord, which is 4 a white and a blue for a 4/4 bird noble. It costs 2 less to cast as long as you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn. It has flying and vigilance, and other birds you control have vigilance. Or Kangi Skywarden, which is 3 a white and a blue for a 3/3 bird wizard with flying and vigilance. Whenever Kangi attacks, attacking creatures with flying get +2/+0 till end of turn. Whenever Kangi blocks, blocking creatures with flying get +0/+2 till end of turn. I don't hate either of those choices, but there is also a new one in Bloomborough, which is Castrol the Windcrested. 3 a white and a blue for a 4/5 bird scout. It has flying. And it says, whenever one or more birds you control deal combat damage to a player, choose one. You may put a bird creature card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Put a +1/+1 counter on each bird you control or draw a card. So, yeah, I'm leaning that way. It's, birds. The other thing I've been looking at for a little bit is a Boros legendary / equipment deck. And that's with Mary, Squire of Rohan. It's a red and a white for a 2/2 halfling knight. Has haste. Mary has first strike as long as it's equipped. And whenever you attack with Mary and another legendary creature, draw a card. So, just Boros things there. And then the one that I've actually put the most thought into over the last couple of weeks is a mono green Slime Against Humanity deck. So Slime Against Humanity is 2 and a green for a sorcery. Create a 0/0 green ooze creature token with trample. Put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is 2 plus the total number of cards you own in exile and in your graveyard that are oozes or are named Slime Against Humanity. And then a deck can have any number of cards named Slime Against Humanity. I do know so far the plan is not to do like 30 Slime Against Humanity, but do something like 16. And then the Majority of the deck is going to be other oozes, ramp spells, and doing cost reduction stuff so that we can hopefully cast Slime Against Humanity for like a single green. Then there'd be something like just throwing Master Chef in there makes sense because oozes and +1/+1 counters. I did have the idea of making this multicolored by making Slurk All Ingesting a commander. That's 5 and a green for a 0/0 ooze. Enters the battlefield with 5 +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever it or another creature you control dies, if it had +1/+1 counters on it, you put a counter on each creature you control that has a +1/+1 counter on it. And it has partner. But then I thought, I have another ooze that potentially could go ham in this deck. That would make a great commander, and that's Ave, Progenitor Ooze. It's 2 green for a 2/2 ooze with Storm. Ave, Progenitor Ooze isn't legendary if it's a token. Ave enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each other ooze you control. So it's a base 2/2, and it can turn itself into extra tokens. Storm is part of the reason I actually wanted to find ways to get Slime Against Humanity to be a single green mana and just go ham, right? But yeah, that's kind of it. That's where I've been mentally for the last few weeks. And yeah, I'm going to take a break. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about a deck that I actually retooled recently because I was not super happy with how it was running. I will be right back. And we are back. Now, the deck that I was retooling was a deck that I had built that I just wasn't super happy with the way that it was coming together and being played. The commander for said deck was Aragorn the Unifier. It is a red, a green, a white, and a blue for a 5/5 human noble, and it has 4 abilities. Whenever you cast a white spell, you create a 1/1 white human creature token. Human soldier creature token. Whenever you cast a blue spell, scry 2. Whenever you cast a red spell, Aragorn deals 3 damage to target opponent. And whenever you cast a green spell, target creature gets +4/+4 till end of turn. The problem was, I was trying to force this into being a humans list. And yes, I was still hitting multiple of the colors, but it just didn't want to play that way. And I kind of put it on the back burner for a while. And then one day, I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago, I had this random thought of, what if we turn this into like a weird spell slinger deck? And so that's what I did. The main thing, the main card I saw that kind of brought this into the forefront of my thoughts was Whirlwind of Thought. It's 1, a blue, a red, and a white for an enchantment. And it says, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. So it turns every non-creature spell we cast into a cantrip. And then I thought, well, what multicolored spells do we have that give us like a lot of options? And the first thing I landed on was charms. Yes, the deck did end up running like 5 or 6 mono-colored charms. We got a ton of the 3-color charms, the 2-color charms, we got some commands, and that's just what happened. I'm still waiting on picking up a couple of cards. Mostly I'm blaming Cool Stuff for putting that order on hold because there was some kind of issue they had, and I can't hear about that till Monday. So, either way, let's start with the 3-color ones. Then we'll talk about some of the 2-color ones, and then we'll move into some of the other cards that have multiple colors. First up, we have Naya Charm, which is, well, Naya. Red, green, white. These are all instants, by the way. So, choose one. It deals 3 damage to a creature. Return a creature card from a graveyard to its owner's hand. Tap all creatures target player controls. And I'm going to kind of rapid fire these real quick. Bant Charm. Green, white, blue. It either destroys an artifact, puts a creature on the bottom of its owner's library, or counters an instant spell. Broker's Charm, which is Bant again. Green, white, blue. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 till end of turn. It deals damage equal to its power to a target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. Destroy target enchantment or draw 2 cards. Jeskai Charm. Red, white, blue. Put target creature on top of its owner's library. It deals 4 damage to target opponent, or creatures you control get +1/+1 and lifelink until end of turn. Teamer Charm. Green, blue, red. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 till end of turn. It fights target creature you don't control. Or counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. Or creatures with power 3 or less can't block this turn. Treva's Charm. Green, white, blue. It either destroys an enchantment, exiles an attacking creature, or draws a card and then discards a card. Rith's Charm, which is red, green, white. Destroy target non-basic land. Put 3 1/1 green sapperling creature tokens onto the battlefield. Or prevent all damage a source of your choice would deal this turn. And last up in the 3-color charms here, we have Cabaretti Charm, which is red, green, white. It deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to target creature or planeswalker, or creatures you control get +1/+1 and trample till end of turn, or create 2 1/1 green and white citizen creature tokens. Moving into the the 2-color charms, and then we'll finish off with some of the commands. First up, we have Boros Charm, red, white. It either deals 4 damage to a player, permanents you control are indestructible this turn, or target creature gains double strike till end of turn. Selesnya Charm, green, white. Target creature gets +2/+2 and trample till end of turn. Exile target creature with power 5 or greater, or put a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance onto the battlefield. Azorius Charm, a white and a blue. Creatures you control gain lifelink till end of turn, or draw a card, or put target attacking or blocking creature on top of its owner's library. And currently, the final charm I have from the guilds is It Charm, red and blue. Counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2. It Charm deals 2 damage to target creature, or draw 2, then discard 2 cards. And currently, rounding out what I have here on hand, as far as charms and stuff, we have the commands. First up, we have Prismari Command, which is 1, a blue and a red. It deals 2 damage to any target. Target player draws 2 cards and discards 2 cards. Target player creates a treasure token, or destroy target artifact. Now, the thing with commands is they are not choose 1, they are choose 2. But I don't believe it gives you the option to choose the same one twice, because it would say that if it did. Lower Hold Command, which is 3 red, white, creates a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain indestructible and haste till end of turn. It deals 3 damage to any target, and target player gains 3 life. Sacrifice a permanent to draw 2 cards. And finally, for what I have here on hand, we have Atarka's Command. A red and a green. Your opponents can't gain life this turn. Atarka's Command deals 3 damage to each opponent. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield, and creatures you control get +1/+1 and reach until end of turn. Now, there is not a ton of creatures in this deck, but I do want to talk about them real quick because they all kind of serve a purpose. And that starts off with Wild Cantor. It is a hybrid Gruul, so red-green, for a 1/1 human druid. You can sacrifice Wild Cantor to add 1 mana of any color. So this is in here primarily for if we get stuck on a mana to get our commander out. But if we have our commander, we trigger both the red and the green cast triggers. Zerta Druid is a red and a green for a 1/1 human druid. It says tap, add green to your mana pool. Whenever you tap Zerta Druid, 4 mana, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So this is in here, again, if we already have our commander, it's triggering 2 of his colors. If we don't, it's a mana dork, so it can get us to our 4th mana to, hopefully play our commander. But just the extra damage it throws out, it helps. Then, for the final 3, we have Brawl and Karizev, which is 1, a blue and a red, for a 2/4 human with First Strike and Menace. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, you may cast a spell with lesser mana value that shares a card type from your hand without paying its mana cost. If you don't, you create First Mate Ragavan, a legendary 2/1 red monkey pirate creature token, and it gains haste till end of turn. So, again, triggers 2 of our colors, but then getting, free value off, even if we cast a 3 mana charm and then get a free 2 mana charm off of it, right? Seems pretty good. Next up, we have Surak Dragonclaw. It is 2 and then green, blue, red for a 6/6 human warrior with flash. He cannot be countered. Creature spells you control can't be countered. Other creatures you control have trample. The main reason it's in here is that last line. Other creatures you control have trample. And then Aragorn's ability to give things +4/+4. And finally, we have Wrath, Weatherlight Stalwart, white and a blue for a 1/3 human wizard. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may tap to untap creatures you control. If you do, draw a card. So that is a way, much like Whirlwind of Thought, to turn, all of our charms into cantrips. More importantly, for 3, a white, and a white, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance until end of turn. So he's really there for after we've kind of gone off and Aragorn's made a ton of tokens and we just want to turn things sideways. But yeah, that's kind of it. I'm excited to actually get the last, I believe it's 7 cards that I'm waiting for. And then I can take this one out into the wilds and see how it performs. But that's all I have for this week. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week. Hopefully, as long as the depression stays away. Hopefully. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. All of my links can be found in my link tree in the description below. I would like to thank Ian Foss and Cody Mulpey of the band The Crypt for allowing me to use music for my opening and ending, along with Nate and Erica Jacobs for making my original logo. And I would also like to thank Christina McNichol for creating my new logo. And I'll see you next time.